Welcome to the American Nomad Podcast, hosted by the legend himself, or as I refer to him, the legend in his own mind, Rav Holly. Welcome to the American Nomad Podcast, hosted by the legend himself, or as I refer to him, the legend in his own mind, Rav Holly.
Welcome, everyone, to the Monday, December 14th, 2020 show. I am Rav Holly, the American Nomad. Welcome to the Libertarian Hour. I want to apologize, guys. I am running way late. We're starting this podcast 15 minutes after the hour, 7 p.m. We should have started at 7 p.m. Unfortunately, I was up all night moving the podcast to a new host. Starting my birthday outright with a new podcast host after almost 6 years, almost 7 years, I guess, going on 7 years with Podbean, and figured it out. Over $800 in hosting fees, and I've never made an actual penny off of the audio podcast. So if you guys are listening just to the audio version, I've been paying for the audio version of this podcast for since September of 2014. And this morning at about, about 6:45 a.m. after working and debating all night and starting to move everything and transfer everything over, I moved the podcast from Podbean to RedCircle. So let's talk about it. I don't know if you guys are interested in that, but anyway, I was just going to talk about that, and it's my birthday, so it's the birthday show. Hey, Lamont, driving home. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Appreciate it. Anyway, on B camera over here, let's see if A camera's focused for us and get this show started. The birthday show. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the show. Hit that thumbs up like button. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm, and I really appreciate it. Hey, look at there. We got an A camera today. Booyah. Even though I'm running late, I probably look terrible. I didn't get a lot of sleep. That's why I'm running late, because I literally woke up and it was 6:30 and my poor dog hadn't been out. And so I had to run and take him out, and then I hadn't done any preparation for the show. Because when I fell asleep, I'd been up for probably like 19 hours, and I fell asleep like 2:30 p.m. Freedom Dove, welcome to the room, girl. Good to see you. How is everybody? So yeah, didn't have a hot topic to talk about today. I know there's some things going on. Today was the day that, hey CC, good to see you. Today is the day that the Electoral College actually votes for putting in the electorate for who's going to be president. So I didn't get to catch a lot of it. I just saw that they were voting for Biden or whatever it looked like, which I think we all knew that was going to happen. But still, I don't think I haven't checked the news when I woke up, but I don't think Trump's conceded yet. So the Democrats are in a mess with that, because until he concedes, there's not a whole heck of a lot they can do about it. And there was a another big Trump rally in Washington D.C. If you guys didn't know this, there was a big Trump rally in Washington D.C. And so the last time that there was a big Trump rally in Washington D.C., the Antifa showed up and didn't do a whole lot. They kind of kept to themselves in their own little part of D.C. there, down where the White House is. But then when people from the Trump rally started breaking up and deciding to go back to their hotels or back home or wherever that they were going, Antifa singled these people out when they were by themselves, the Trump supporters, and started beating the crap out of them. Didn't see anything about it really on the media. Wasn't too much said about it. But Antifa was literally just attacking people. They knocked one guy out, stole his phone. You just seen a lot of that. So this time around, the Proud Boys showed up. Probably can't even say that, so we'll just refer to them as the PBs. The PBs showed up, and they did the same thing. They started singling at the end of the night. They started singling out the Antifa and beating the crap out of them. So it's just it's gonna go one way or the other. It just depends on who the majority is in the crowd. And this time it was the PBs. Let's see. Freedom Dove says, total BS. They did that based on the election results, but election was a fraud. Yes, I think we all know that. You got to be pretty. What's the word I'm looking for to believe this election was all on the up and up? The funny thing is it's so funny right now to watch the left, the people on the left. That are talking about how secure our elections are, and there's no election fraud at all, nothing. And these are the same people that for 3.5 years were screaming at the top of their lungs about Russian meddling, and had a 3-year investigation which turned up no evidence of Russian meddling. So that all turned out to be a hoax. But this time around, we have thousands upon thousands, maybe probably millions. Let's just go with millions of mail-in ballots that overwhelmed the Postal Service, that overwhelmed everything, the counters, everything. But there was no election fraud. This time our elections are perfect. The same people that were throwing a fit about Russian meddling in our elections in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Same people. Anyway, I'm going to get off the political soapbox. I'm trying not to do so much political commentary because, it throws the algorithm and the YouTube algorithm into a tizzy fit. Anyway, it is my birthday. I am banned from Facebook. So if any of you guys out there wish me a happy birthday on Facebook, I know there was over 100 people that wished me a birthday. I checked that. And usually what I do on my birthday on Facebook is I've had over I think the most I ever got was 246 people wishing me happy birthday on Facebook. And what I actually used to do, or what I do, I have always done until this year because I'm banned on Facebook right now. I'm in Facebook jail. What I always do is I go in and I literally and reply. If it's anybody I personally know or somebody I talk to on a regular basis, I will actually reply to their birthday wishes, just to show that it's because I see people that they just leave it they don't even say anything or acknowledge it, or they'll make one announcement. But I always feel like if somebody took the time to go into my Facebook and actually wish me a happy birthday, then I should take the time to acknowledge that I appreciate that. Unfortunately, this year, that's not going to happen because the overlords at Facebook have me, they placed me in a corner. So it's not going to happen this year. So I apologize. I'm still 30 days in it. or 26 days. I think I got 26 days left. Oh yeah, it is what it is. I'm not even crying about it though. You know what I mean? I'm not even whatever. It's whatever. I need a break from Facebook anyway. The only good thing about Facebook for me is being able to keep up with, friends and family and stuff like that. Let's see. Freedom Dove says, I'm a Taurus with Sagittarius moon. Oh, I'm a Sagittarius and I can't never remember. Oh, I think mine's in... I can't remember what mine is. Mine's in Jupiter, but I don't remember what in Jupiter it is. So anyway, yeah, I'm a little discombobulated, like I'm always discombobulated, but I'm even more discombobulated today because I didn't get a lot of sleep because I decided to change the hosting from Podbean, which I have been with Podbean for almost 7 years, and I was a little sad about it because I really do like the Podbean website. I think as far as I think as far as a podcast host goes, they've been as good as it gets. I started out with Libsyn, and Libsyn was terrible. I don't know. There's so many people that are big fans of Libsyn, but it was like designed in 1995. 1995 called and they want their podcast hosting service back. And it's real clunky, and it's just real antiquated, and it's just not very the user interface is not very user friendly. On Podbean, on the other hand, is totally different. I mean, it's very modern. Even when I started in 2014, it was great. And so the one thing I was gonna miss, or the reason I stayed with Podbean, is because I'm gonna drop a link for you guys in the room right now. For you guys that are just listening to the audio version, I apologize. You can't quite get the link or click the link. But anyway, I just dropped the link in the room for the that is the Podbean website that you get with your hosting package if you pay $9.99 a month. So I've been paying $9.99 a month since September of 2014 for just to basically be able to have this little website page, because the other hosts don't offer this. They just host your podcast, but you don't get anything like this. But I had been looking. I have like a link tree. I think a lot of people know what Linktree is. So Linktree is a website where you can put all of your links in one spot, like your Facebook, your Twitter, and everything, and then just put let's see if I can. See if I can find my link tree. I have one. I did. Let's see. Oh, it's giving me a login. I didn't really want that, but it looks like that's what I got. So anyway, here we go. So Linktree is that's probably going to bore most of you guys. So Linktree is another service. CC and I was actually talking about this morning before I fell asleep. Linktree is a service where you can just put all of your links on one page, and so I'll drop a Linktree. My link tree in there right now. So it's just a basic where you can just literally just stick all your links on one page. There's nothing fancy about it. There's no bells and whistles, and it's pretty bland. Kind of like the difference between a Libsyn and Podbean. But so I found this new service that's called solo.to. And I spent hours setting up this solo.to page. It's pretty user friendly. I mean, you don't have to really study to figure it out, but it did take me a few minutes to get it figured out. More than a few minutes. I mean, I stumbled along the way to get it working. But I finally got it working, got everything set up. And it really, I think, takes the place of the Podbean website. So I don't really need that Podbean website. So that left me the alternative to be able to switch away my podcast that I've had on Podbean for 6 years and to move it. What it is Monday. What did I say? Did I say it was a different day? Sorry, it's Monday, December 14th, my birthday. So I moved, I set up this solo page. If you guys, I just dropped the link in the room if anybody wants to check it out. And it's pretty neat. I like the solo page a lot. It's got a lot of bells and whistles to it. And I got it all set up. And I even paid for this service. Now, this service that I'm paying for is $6 a month. But if I'm not paying for the Podbean at $9.99 a month, I figured I could pay for this link service and save $4, right? But then after I got this thing all set up, I went, was looking at Instagram, and you know how they always, they read your mind, what you're working on or what you're doing, and they serve you up some ads for that kind of stuff. And sure enough, they sent me an ad in Instagram for a different service that's called Links.co. And this service has a lot more bells and whistles. So for the same price for the Links.co, if you got the solo upgrade for what Links.co gives you for $3 a month, it would cost you $15 a month on solo. And the solo, because there's different tiers to the solo. The Links.co is just $3 a month. And so I was like, oh man, because I had literally just got my solo page set up and was really excited about it. And I applied to be an affiliate and I got approved. And so I was really excited about the solo. I put it on all of my stuff. And then lo and behold, I find this Links.co and start setting it up and messing around with it. And it's got way more different options than the solo for $3 a month. Half the $6 a month I'm paying for the not even the top plan on solo. So I ended up setting up this links page. So you guys take a look at all of these pages and let me know which one you like the best. But I think I'm going to be staying with the Links.co page at $3 a month, and that'll be saved. I won't have $9 a month for Podbean, so I can use that Links.co page. Hey, Eve Brooklyn Bulldog, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Like I was telling everybody, I'm thrown off Facebook for 30 days. I'm in Facebook jail, so if you wish me a happy birthday on Facebook, I won't be replying. I apologize. But anyway, check out my Links.co page there. I set it up. And I'm going to be I've got an affiliate set up for this too. So if you guys want a page like this, definitely can get you hooked up. Anyway, so yeah, I think I'm going to stay with the Links.co page just for I can put pictures and stuff like that, which I can't do on the solo page. I'm sure the solo, once they see how Links is doing theirs, I'm sure they're going to be, I'm sure they'll be upgrading their service, but it's still more expensive. So I think at this point, I'm just going to go with the Links.co page. And the funny thing is I'm half asleep here because I could actually be showing you guys this stuff. I forget that I set up these screens. So I could actually be showing you guys this stuff instead of just talking about it. Give me a second here. We're going to pull up our Microsoft Edge. And let's go to... So this is the Podbean site. Let's see if it comes up properly here. Should. So this is my Podbean website, as you can see. And the main reason I've stayed with Podbean paying $9.95, you can actually see up here at the top where the lettering is overlapping if you put it on the small screen. So that's kind of a problem with Podbean there, because I have lettering on my banner, but then it also offers you lettering. So you have to have that lettering in so people can find it in Google. So you have to put a title on your page. And I have a title on my banner, so it kind of overlaps there. But if you put it on a wider screen or a phone, I don't think it does that. But anyway, this is my Podbean site I've had for, years now. But nobody really ever visits it. It's kind of funny. Like the most where people find the podcast is the audio podcast is from iTunes or from Apple Podcast. But anyway, I'll show you guys my Linktree page really quick. It's very, very basic. So this is Linktree. But this is but before I do that, let me say that the reason I have stayed all this time with Podbean is because I liked having this site, if that makes sense, for the podcast. And none of the other services really offer that. Okay, so here's my link tree. As you can see, it's just super basic. There's really nothing to it. There's no graphics. You basically just put a link and label it, and that's it. That's all you get with Linktree. And then we'll go to let's go to solo.to. And the Solo really replaces, I think, for me, the Solo really replaces the Podbean website, just the way it looks. I mean, it looks so clean and professional. Can't scroll this, though. There's not enough to scroll it, so hopefully you guys can see it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see all of it. But it really does a good job of replacing. Yeah, you can see the top of it, but I can't scroll it for you guys. It does a good job of you being able to see you can see the top, and so the links are just at the bottom there. But then we also have this Links Co page that you can put pictures, and you can basically do everything pretty much that you can do in the Solo page. You can have pictures and everything. It looks a little bit more like Instagram. It's not as much laid out like a website as Solo is. Links Co isn't. But see, I can scroll this one. I can't scroll the other one. And I can put pictures and make it a little bit more. There's some things I wish that they would tweak, like these icons. I think they're too big. I wish I could make these icons smaller. And I wish I could make the stuff on the page actually wider. If I can make these icons smaller and make this, if it was out to here to about here, I think would be perfect. I think it's a little narrow for me, but, that's kind of the way Twitter is. So, but I kind of would like it if it was a little bit wider and these were a little bit smaller, like half this size. But this page is $3 a month. This page, the way it's set up right now, is $6 a month. And if you get the Linktree Pro, which I don't have, it's $6 a month as well. So my feeling is trying to save money these days. I think the Links Co page is the way I'm going to go. Now, I asked my friend Cece about this. I sent these to her this morning, and she picked out the Solo page. She picked out this page that she liked the best. And when it comes down to it, looking professionally, I think it does look the most professional. But for, half the price, $3 a month, I get this. And I don't really know how many people are going to even look at them. So that's another thing. So I think I'm going to go with and I'm affiliate for both now. I'm affiliate for the Solo page, and I'm an affiliate for the Links Co page. But I think at this point I'm going to stay with the Links Co page, unless Solo reaches out to me and offers me some kind of deal. Because money right now is, for everybody is tight. So I just, it's not that I can't afford it. It's just if I can save the money, why not save the money? That's why I went and spent the time to switch to the new hosting company. Because like I said, the new hosting company, my old hosting company, I've been paying $9.99 a month since September of 2014. I've only got 26 episodes on my podcast. So in all of these years, I've only gotten 26 episodes because I'd start the podcast, do initial episodes, and then let it fall off because things would, fall apart. And then I'd wait a few years and I'd get it going again, and I would never cancel it because I was like, nope, I'm going to do it at one point. I'm going to get this podcast right. I'm going to do it. So, I just really got going again with doing the audio version of the podcast. Let's see here. There we go. So I just got going again doing the audio version of the podcast. So, but I found this new hosting service that's called RedCircle. it's not fancy. There's nothing really fancy about it. Now, Podbean is, it's a little bit fancy, you know what I mean? But you're paying $9.99 a month for it, so it should be, right? So RedCircle's not fancy. It's pretty much like Linktree. It's just a straight up hosting site. There's no bells and whistles. They don't give you a website to host it for your podcast or any of that stuff. It's just all you do is you load your podcast on their site, and then they push it out to all of the other sites for you. That's all they do. You don't get any bells and whistles. But the best thing about RedCircle is it's free. It's absolutely 100% free. Now, when I started this podcast, I didn't have a whole lot of money. I'd kind of retired out the Joshua Tree, and I was not working and didn't work for like a year. And so when I started the podcast on Podbean, I was searching for hours and hours and hours looking for a free service. And then I ended up finding Libsyn and started with Libsyn, but it was so bad and so antiquated that I opted to pay $9.99 a month and start everything up on Podbean, because I felt like if I was paying $9.99 a month, I'd be more serious about it and stay with it, which that didn't happen. But anyway, so I have nothing bad to say about Podbean. If you're looking at starting a podcast and if you have a little bit of money, Podbean is a great way to go. I mean, they've really, I don't know, like when I first started my podcast out there, like they communicated, like if I said something about them on Twitter, they would acknowledge it, that kind of thing. But they've grown so big now that, you're just another podcaster on their service. So they really don't have much to say to you. I kind of like being with smaller companies, and RedCircle is just starting out. Now it's going to suck, because this is one thing that happens to sometimes when you move things off of one platform over to a new platform that's a new startup, and then they don't make it. They go out of business, and then there you are stuck because you've moved everything over. So I worry about that, but I think they look like they're really doing some great things. And my biggest complaint about Podbean, which I didn't even know this, I figured it out after I was already initially getting ready to move to RedCircle, is I want some promotion. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to run ads on this podcast. I know it will be annoying for you guys, but that way I could actually make even if it's just change. I mean, even if it's just 35 cents an episode, that to me is something. I've paid $800. I think it was like $867 to host this podcast, the audio podcast. Since 2014, I've paid Podbean over $800, and I've never made a penny from this podcast, the audio version. So it's always kind of been like a sore subject with me that I was just paying this money out every month, and I had could figure out no way of getting any money back and monetize it. That's why I do this Vodcast on YouTube, because it's monetized and I do make a little bit of money from it. But with RedCircle, they offer you ads. All you have to do, just like YouTube, all you have to do is start getting, this is actually a milestone for your podcast. You have to get 500 downloads a month. And once you get the 500 a week, I'm sorry. If it was a month, I would be there, but it's 500 downloads a week. And I'm at 370 right now. Or about 370 is what I'm averaging. So I might even add another show to this to reach that. But once you get to 500 downloads a week, you can opt into their ads program, and then they will set up partnerships with you for people that want to advertise on your podcast. So that is amazing. And then I find out Podbean has the same thing. When I get ready to move, I stumble onto the same thing in Podbean, but it's a bigger milestone to reach. I think it's 1,000 downloads a week, or 1,000. I think it's 1,000 downloads an episode, or something like that. Now, don't take me, I could be completely wrong on that. So somebody from Podbean could reach out and, that's not right. So, but I didn't even know it was on Podbean. I didn't even know if it was offered on Podbean. That's how, because there's so much stuff digging around on Podbean. But on RedCircle, so it's 500 downloads a week, and you can get monetized. The other thing that they do, which I really loved, is you can opt into this thing in the in the platform itself with all of the other podcasters that's on RedCircle, and you can advertise on each other's podcast. You can reach out to somebody else and have them on as a guest, or have them do like a little advertisement drop, like, hey, this is so, and check out my buddy so and so's podcast. They talk about this, and this, and then they can do the same for you to help you grow your podcast to reach that 500 downloads a week, if that makes sense. So I just felt like that kind of stuff was lacking with Podbean. It just felt like they weren't really, I don't know. I mean, I guess they have this stuff there. It's just like, I just didn't feel like that they was, like really helping promote, channels to grow or podcasts to grow. And that's what you want, is your podcast to grow. And in recent, my podcast were doing back in the day, like 300, 500, 700 downloads. Now they're doing like 21, 31 downloads. So there's a lot of competition out there now, though. Let's get back in the room. See what you guys have been, I have been neglecting you guys, just talking. Freedom Dove left. I have to make dinner for my son. I'll leave the feed playing. Maybe you'll still be here when I'm done. If not, have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much, Freedom Dove. Glad you stopped in. Thank you so much. So yeah, I probably bored everybody to tears with all of my podcast talk, but hey, it's what I've been up to like the last 3 or 4 days. It's just working on looking at possibly doing something else with this podcast and moving hosts, and I got it all done. So it took hours and hours and hours of sitting in this chair, but I got it all done. It's one of those things. What do you call it? Like you feel accomplished about it. So I feel pretty accomplished about it that I got it all done. Let's see. English Bulldog Eve says, all of this looks pretty legit, Rav. Eve, I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that, because I've worked really hard to try to make it, even though I'm not a big podcaster as of yet. If it ever does take off, I want it to look pretty, legit. You know what I mean? It was funny because this morning I didn't spend a whole lot of time, but I did look at their program in RedCircle about reaching out to other podcasters and, doing a collaboration. Or doing what they call drops. So you just record a drop and put it on your podcast. Like, hey, check out my friend English Bulldog Eve it's Brooklyn Bulldog. Check out her podcast. You know what I mean? And then they'll do the same for you. So I went in, and there's a few political podcasts that would probably gel well with me, and we could do a collab. But a couple of them, I listened to them, and you could tell that they're just like holding their phone up, like they're recording their podcast on their phone. And it didn't even sound professional. It was very weird. It's very weird, the podcast thing, because everybody can, everybody has a phone. So people just take a phone and just talk to their phone and then upload it as a podcast. And then you go in and then you click on a different, there was one that had this great thumbnail. It was a very attractive thumbnail. And so I clicked on the thumbnail, and it was one of the podcasts that was recorded with like a phone or like a terrible microphone. It was terrible audio. And so I immediately was like, oh, I'm not collabing with that one. So I clicked off of that one. And then there was another one with just like an okay freaking thumbnail. I click on that one, and the audio is amazing. It's like, radio disc jockey audio. He's got a full intro, and, it sounds like a radio show. So it's kind of crazy, the different spectrums of where people are that are doing podcasts, because podcasts are so popular now. Back in the day when I started the podcast in 2014, everybody was using people were not just jumping on with their phone. People were using legit radio style equipment, which is what I worked my way up to do the podcast, especially if I was going to do the video version. I wanted it to look legit. I didn't want to just sit there talking to the camera like I do with the videos. Man, we're 36 minutes into this podcast, and I haven't shut up about RedCircle and Podbean. So, yeah, my friend Cece that's in the room, we've been talking. That girl is, she is in New Mexico and hanging out for the pandemic. Are you still in the room, Cece? Cece said, I may have to switch to save some money, though. Let's see what Cece said. The funny thing is I talked to Cece about this computer stuff, and she knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like when I sent her the pages, she's like, yeah, I have a link tree. She has a link tree, but then I was teasing her because like at RTR, when I met her at RTR this year, or last year, I'm sorry, in 2019, when I met her at RTR, yes, Brooklyn English Bulldog, Eve. Cece is a Nomad. She's the one that her van burned down at the van build in 2019. She had just pulled in and her van caught on fire. So she is a longtime Nomad. And she's hanging out in New Mexico for the pandemic. Yeah, she's still here. Filing some pictures. Filing some pictures? What is that? So anyway, Cece, I sent her this. I sent her the links and asked her if she would do me a favor and take a look at the solo page I created and the Linkco page I created, and tell me which one she liked the best. And then she tells me, "Oh, I have a link tree page." I was like, "She has all of this stuff, but you don't know where any of it is." Like you look at her Instagram page, she's got like maybe 10 pictures on there, and they're all of her favorite singer, Selena. But she has all of this stuff, but you don't find it anywhere. CC says, I pay $6 a month for Linktree. Yeah, you know the thing about that is, CC, is Linktree is so 2017. That's going to be my promo for the advertising I do or my affiliate advertising that I do for Linkco. I'm going to put an advertisement out there going, man, you guys are still on Linktree. Linktree is so 2017. Get on, Linkco for $3 a month for their professional plan. They've only got one plan. It's $3 a month. So all of these other services, a lot of them will offer like tiers. Like it's for $5 you get this, for $10 you get this, for $15 you get everything. And what I loved about Linkco is for $3 they give you everything. And that's the way it should be for a link site. I mean, it's not, a link site is not like a big professional website. I mean, you can host a freaking website for like $10 a month. You know what I mean? For like on GoDaddy or something, you can build a whole freaking website. So these, to me, Linktree charging you $6 a month is ridiculous. So I linked my, let's see. But might have to switch. CC's Instagram has my Linktree blocked. What? Why would they do that? You putting dirty pictures on there? I put dirty pictures on Instagram all the time. So I linked my Twitter, which has my Linktree. I also can't post stories longer than 15 seconds on IG. I have to use my other IG account. I didn't know you had another IG account. You're way too complicated, girl. No wonder you have a Linktree. How many Instagram accounts you got anyway? Actually, I have two as well. I have my Rav Holly Instagram account, and then I have an American Nomad account, which I don't even hardly post to the American Nomad account anymore since I don't do a lot of traveling. Since I haven't been doing traveling, I should say. But anyway, if you do have a lot of websites, like if you have a Twitter, a Facebook, like me, I have like 3 Facebook pages, a Twitter, and 2 Twitters, 2 Instagrams, and all of these different, and a website, an Amazon affiliate site, and all of these different things, and they just get lost out there. And that's the great thing about the Linkco, is because you can put all of those things. You can put them all on this one page, so you can put one link in your bio. So if somebody checks it, they see it, if that makes sense. I mean, they can look at everything. I was going to... Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put my link, my affiliate link. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the room for Linkco. If you want to set up a Linkco page, if you use my affiliate code, I'll get a little bit of kickback, and I do appreciate it. So I've been talking about it a lot. And then I'll actually, I mean, you can pick whichever one you want. I'll go ahead and I actually have a affiliate link also for Solo. So if you like Solo better, oh man, I'm not signed into Solo. What the heck? I got signed out. Let's join. I don't want to join. Sign in. That's what I needed. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find my. See, this is. You see, I just did it in 2 seconds on my Linksco account, and I've been with the freaking Solo account. Here we are. But anyway, I found it pretty quickly. And the crazy thing is with the Solo and the Linksco. The funny thing is if you could combine those two, you would have the perfect site, because one of them has some things that I like that the other one doesn't have, and then the other one, it's vice versa. I like the Linksco, but it's not wide enough. I like the wider and the more it looks like a website on the solo.to site. But then you can't add pictures on the solo.to site. So it's weird. So anyway, I just dropped affiliate links for both of them in there. The top one is for Linksco. The bottom one is for Solo. If you want, either one of you want a link, if any of you want a links page, and if you don't know what a link bio page is, it's just where you can add all of your links. So you can have, it's like having a website. Instead of having a website, if you don't have a website, but you've always wanted a website, but you don't know how to build a website, you can put a little link, like a Linksco page together, and then you can put a link in your Instagram. So if you have if you want your family to find your Facebook and your Twitter and your Instagram and your Snapchat and your TikTok and all of these different things and your website, you just build your little Linkco page and put your link in your Instagram bio and your Twitter bio and all your bios, your Facebook bio. For a long time, I had Rav Holly, just my photography site. But with my photography site, you didn't see all of my other things, all of my podcast stuff as much. If that makes sense. This whole show, I'm just talking about freaking computer stuff that you guys probably don't even care. But it is what it is. I've been sitting here working on this stuff for a week now, or messing around with this stuff, so I really haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to what's going on in the politics and what's going on in the news, if that makes sense. So that's kind of why we're just sticking to what I've been working on the last week. Oh, another thing is I had planned on today for my birthday, but because of I decided to, this kind of moving the podcast to a different server, I found the RedCircle, and I looked at it before, and I was like, no, it's way too much work to move everything, the podcast. So I just was too lazy, and I was like, nah. And it didn't have the website with the RedCircle, and so I was like, nah, I'm just gonna stay with Podbean. But then after I found this, Links Co website that I could build to basically replace my Podbean website, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna move it. So that's exactly what I did. But it was a lot. It takes some time to do it, and didn't have a time. I haven't been keeping up with the news and everything that's going on. A little bit I have. I get on Parler and stuff and see what's going on there, since I'm thrown off Facebook. Let's see where we're at, guys. We're 46 minutes into this thing. English Bulldog, Eve says, it's your birthday. You can talk about whatever you want. Oh, thank you, Eve. I appreciate that. I don't talk about computer stuff a lot because I don't, this podcast isn't geared towards computer stuff, but, you guys should understand that I'm messing with computer stuff 90% of the time. So Eve asked, what got you kicked off of Facebook? So what got me kicked off of Facebook is I'm in a group that's called the California Coronavirus Group. And all they do is talk about the coronavirus in this group, about what's going on with the shutdowns and all of this. It's basically a bunch of uber liberals, screaming, everybody wear your mask. This is why we're in a shutdown again. But I joined that page back in I want to say March or April, back at the beginning of this pandemic thing, because I wanted to be able to keep up with, because I didn't know, none of us at that time knew what was going to happen, right? We didn't know how deadly this coronavirus was going to be. I mean, people could have been dropping dead on the sidewalk like they were in China for all we knew. Now that's never happened, thank God. But I never opted out of this Facebook page. So now at this point, you just have people in there just venting, you know what I mean? You have all of the uber liberals in there venting about these dumb people that are not wearing masks are the ones that's creating all of this havoc and these problems and why we have to shut down. Then you have people in there that are on the right that are going, oh, you freaking idiots that are wearing your mask, sitting in your car by yourself. And, it's a little bit comical, but I will troll people in there from time to time. And what I've come to understand is the new censorship that's just recently come down. Now, they've been stepping up censorship a little at a time, but now they're really coming down hard on people. And what I have come to learn is they just do not want you trolling people. You can't troll anybody on Facebook anymore. But anyway, I got into a verbal joust with somebody on Facebook and I was just talking crap about Biden, because this is a coronavirus. It's called like the California Coronavirus Group, right? And somebody posts a article and just are bashing Trump. It has nothing to do with coronavirus. They're just bashing Trump. They just post some article about Trump and they're bashing Trump, right? So I go in and immediately start bashing Biden because I love, they could not have given us two better candidates with Kamala and Biden to bash. I mean, there's so much stuff. There's so many skeletons in their closet. So I have a heyday with it. It's fun. You know what I mean? They've been bashing Trump for 4 years. So now it's my turn, right? So anyway, this freaking person, we're going through and I'm trolling them, and they're not keeping up with the wit in the responses, so they're getting madder and madder and madder and madder, to the point where it always happens. They start saying, they immediately go, well, you're a Trump supporter, so you're just a racist Nazi anyway, blah blah blah. That's every leftist uber liberal's last response. Well, you're just a Nazi rebel. I mean, a Nazi racist anyway, that you're a Trump cultist or whatever. Keep in mind, these people are still on Obama's nutsack after how many years has he not been president now? And they still talk about Obama like he's still president, but they call Trump supporters cultists, when nobody's a bigger cultist than the Obama supporters for their black Jesus. The black Jesus. They love them some Obama. They can't stop talking about Obama. If Obama does something on Netflix, if Obama does this, if Obama does that, they can't stop talking about Obama. Which what Obama really did was bomb Syria into oblivion, kill thousands and thousands of Syrians, innocent women and children. If you ever watched Clint Eastwood Unforgiven, and Gene Hackman goes, "You are God, what was his name? The killer, William Money. You're William Money, the killer of women and children." And Clint Eastwood goes, "That's right. I'm William Money. I've killed just about everything at one time or another, and I've killed women and children." That's Obama. He's killed lots of women and children. More than William Money ever killed. But anyway, yeah, so they started calling me a racist Nazi. Well, my favorite thing is, we have video proof, not just one instance, but many videos of Biden being inappropriate with children, whether he's got some pedophile tendencies or not. He's doing things that are inappropriate with children in public on camera. So when they start calling me a racist Nazi, I immediately start calling them a pedophile. You're a pedophile. You voted for a pedophile. You knew he was a pedophile and you voted for him. So you're either a pedo yourself or you're a pedo sympathizer. And since you're up Hollywood's butt so far, you're probably a pedophile. And dude, they lose their mind when you hit them with that. So my whole thing is okay, I've for the last 4 years, I've had to take the racist Nazi stuff literally time after time after time. That's what they all go with. So now what I go with is, oh, you're just a pedophile. You want children. So they lose it. So that's exactly how I got thrown in Facebook jail, because of course leftists, their thin is so thin. So as soon as this person was calling me a racist Nazi, but as soon as I called them a pedophile, they turned my comment into Facebook and got me banned on Facebook. And the funny thing is if they do that, you can't even turn them in, even though they're the ones that call me a racist Nazi first. You're already banned. You're stuck. Because they reported you. And that's been happening, that's been happening a lot. So anyway, I got thrown in Facebook jail again for being a bully. I'm a bully. Even though you can say anything you want about Trump on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, you can say anything derogatory you want about Trump. You say anything derogatory about Biden or Obama or any of them, and oh, you're in Facebook jail, buddy. Can't have any of that. I love it though. So I actually even made up it inspired a new bio, because I've struggled with like what my bio says, because I'll look at people's bios on like Instagram and stuff, and or Twitter, and they're talking about I'm a world class published photographer. I'm a world class published photographer. I was published in Playboy Egypt in 2014. I'm an internationally published photographer. So my Instagram bio says nothing. It's just it had my website and that was it. It said nothing. It still doesn't say anything. But my new links go page, I actually, and my the one that finally changed me putting a bio, because I always had something on Twitter, but then when I did my Parler page, I actually put like "We Are MAGA" on my Parler page, and just kind of came up with a bio that would help me build the page, if that makes sense. So getting thrown off Facebook inspired a new bio. So let me know what you think of this. So I put my new bio on my links go page is creator, professional troublemaker, just as Facebook, picture taker, host of the American Nomad podcast. So that's my new bio. I kind of like it. It's kind of funny because every year, man, my camera is not focusing. I don't know what's going on with that. There it goes. Every year, hey, Random Nomad, what is going on, buddy? Good to see ya. Oh yeah, and Random, what's in was sniffing? Exactly. He's the sniffer. The sniffer whip. What was that? That sweeper, the sniffer whipper picker upper or whatever. That's who mine is. He's a sniffer whipper picker upper. Random Nomad says they should play their game next time. Camera went out on focus. Yeah, freaking camera. Yeah. So it's kind of weird because at this time of year, I don't know what it is, but almost every single year at this time, I get like inspired to just like revamp stuff. I don't know what it is. Like, so that's what I've been doing. I moved the podcast to a new host. I found a new link page, built it out. Just been trying to step up the production value of the podcast. I've got it figured out now. I asked a few people. I even asked Cece, but she was worried her internet wouldn't be enough. But I asked a few different people. I asked the bread trucker, asked a couple of people if they wanted to be on this evening. And actually, I'm glad that everybody turned me down, just for the simple fact is I wasn't even with all the work I was doing, I was not even ready to do the podcast myself. So if I would have actually if somebody would have took me up on being a guest, I wouldn't have got all this work done that I got done, if that makes sense. Because I would have been prepping and preparing to have them on as a guest for the first guest. But I am looking for a guest. So if anybody wants to come on, if you're brave enough to come on, we're going to do it through StreamYard. We're going to do it through StreamYard. And I will be able to send you a link, and you can actually even download the StreamYard app on your phone. You could be a guest just being on your phone. Now, I know this works because I did it. I ran a test trial. I actually had 2 cameras going. I had, or 3 cameras. I had A camera. I had B camera over here. And then I also had my phone right up here as C camera on StreamYard. So I know that it works. So you could actually do it on your phone and be on the show. The only thing that I would ask, if you decide to come on the show and you want to use your phone, which I have no problem doing with that, is just make sure that if you do use your phone, if you would probably use your headphones. Like if you have an iPhone, you have like the Apple, either the earbuds, or you have the little, the buds with the mic, because you want the mic that's on that. It's not so much the hearing, but the mic is a lot better if you use that mic instead of using the one on your phone. But even if you just use the mic on your phone, it's whatever. It's not like we're broadcasting this to Fox Media or anything. Random Nomad says, I have seen it work to another streamer. You should play their game next time. Almost start of the new year, and I almost missed this one. Was just going to say that. I've seen it work for... You've seen, Brandon, you've seen what work for another streamer? Oh, the StreamYards, yes. Yeah, so, like I had said, another Nomad. I used to get Random Nomad mixed up with a guy, my friend, something Nomad. Oh, Nomad Unbroken. So Nomad Unbroken used to come in a lot back in the old studio. He used to come in, and I actually think I even have him as a moderator. I haven't seen that guy. I should actually check up on him, Nomad Unbroken, see how he's doing. But he was the first one I saw that was using StreamYard, and he was just using his laptop to do his streams. And he used to stream all the time, but I haven't seen him lately. But I haven't really been keeping up with the Nomad community as much. But that has changed. Let me reiterate. I started watching van life videos for the first time in over a year, or not, like a year. I spent, not yesterday, I think it was Saturday, I actually watched Nomadic Fanatic. I watched Pandemonium. I watched, probably about five different, I watched Unstoppable Morgan. I watched about 5 different nomads just to kind of catch up and see where everybody was and what they're doing and how they're handling the pandemic and everything. So Pandemonium was in Parker, actually, for the Thanksgiving, because we were all there in 2019. For the van build. So a lot of people actually, not a lot of people, there was only like 10 or 15 rigs it looked like, but they actually congregated back out where the van build was in Parker, and Pandemonium was there. So, and then, but everything nothing is the same because of the freaking pandemic this year. Everything is like I watched Nomadic Fanatic, and he had even like skipped putting out some videos. And then the video that I watched a few of his videos, he was having trouble with his generator. And then he has a pass, like a yearly pass for this fancy RV park that he can just go in. Any RV park, he can put in a reservation. I can't remember the name of it. I don't really want to plug them anyway. So just know it's a fancy one of these really resort style RV parks that's like, $75 a night or something like that. because he's making the YouTube bucks now. He can afford that, but you pay like a timeshare, I guess, for it or whatever. But anyway, he had all of these different reservations set up, and the video I'm watching was like back in May. But he had all of these different reservations set up, and then they canceled all his reservations because the parks, those RV parks, all closed down. Yeah, Chrome, Freedom Dove. You know, I actually saw his thumbnail. I didn't click on, City Van Life, Chrome. I didn't click on his and watch his. But anyway, the reason I'm mentioning this, guys, we just hit an hour, is stay with me, because I am going to be coming back on my other channel, Nomad News. That's my New Year's resolution, is to really start. I wanted to get this thing perfected to where I was comfortable with it, and now I'm comfortable with it. I know what I'm doing. I know I still have a lot of technical issues because I'm my own producer, and I have there's a lot of stuff going here. You know, when most people aren't using a very extravagant setup when they're doing their podcast, and I actually have try to do what you would have with like a radio show, you know what I mean? So it's a lot for me to sit here and do everything and switching my screens and everything. It can be a lot, but I'm getting it. I'm getting there. So I am going to now start working on Nomad News. Now, I wanted to say this as well. It's funny because I was really looking because what happens is with these two channels, I have two different YouTube channels. So when I start working on one, it becomes my baby, and I devote all of my time to it, working on it, putting all my sweat and tears into this one YouTube channel, and I just leave the other one like a dirty stepchild over there and don't pay any attention to it. I don't even answer or check comments. I don't do anything. I don't even sign into it. So that is what I did with Nomad News when I started concentrating on this podcast. I just said, I don't have time to mess with the Nomad News. It's a lot of work. So I started working on this thing and got it. I wanted to perfect it, get it to a great, a really good point. And then I go back in night before last to Nomad News, and that channel has over 170 more views than this channel does, and I haven't done anything on that channel in months, like a year. I'm like, what? So the funny thing is when I was working on Nomad News, guys, you remember for some of you probably remember when I were doing my episodes on Nomad News on my other channel. This channel was getting all of these crazy views. So I would be like, oh my God, I'm working on this Nomad News stuff and I'm neglecting my channel over there, and it's doing better than the channel I'm working on. So then I get on this channel and start working and doing weekly videos, 3 videos a week. I try to do 3 videos a week on this channel, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, religiously. I miss one here and there, but I try to do at least 3 videos a week on this channel, live streams. And then I go back over to Nomad News, and it's kicking this channel's butt. I'm just like, what? What is going on? Kills me. So what I'm going to do is, and the other channel has made more money for the second time, for the second month in a row. The other channel, Nomad News, has made more money than this channel, which I'm not even working on Nomad News. It's just over there dormant. I just thought everybody had abandoned that channel like I did. No, people are still watching all those videos and commenting, but nobody's watching the videos on this one. It's crazy. But what I'm going to plan on doing is trying to hopefully do 2 episodes of Nomad News. So the days that I don't stream, which will be Tuesday and Thursday, I'm hoping to do those days to do an episode of Nomad News. And I may, if I can streamline it, I'm not going to do those crazy extravagant shows like I used to do, where I do like 5 or 6 stories and the videos are 30 minutes long, because I'm not kidding you. Those videos would take me 15 hours to put together. I was literally killing myself doing those videos. So I'm going to streamline it down to where, I'm doing maybe 10 or 15 minute videos, and maybe just touching on 3 or 4 different nomads. And I may use this system that I use here for this show, where I just pull stuff up on the screen. because what really takes the time on the Nomad News is when I would have to pull videos, and you really don't even want to do that, but I would be pulling Nomad's videos. I would download their video to my computer and then upload and then put it in my editing software and then cut out the little 30-second clip that I needed from their video to put into my Nomad News video. So now YouTube has actually kind of blocked that. My free downloader, YouTube downloader that I used to use, Nomad, YouTube has pretty much ixnayed that because they want you to pay for their premium service where you can download, where you have access to download the videos. So they've basically wiped out all of the free downloader softwares that was out there on the internet where you could actually download YouTube videos. You can't really download them anymore. So what I may do is I actually may use this system I have here and just do a screen recording of what and do commentary over the video, if that makes sense. So I'm figuring it out, but for me to do Nomad News again, I have to do it where it's not so extravagant to produce because it was too much work. I got burned out. Vidly. It's software you download on your PC. So that's the one you can rip a YouTube video off the internet, Freedom Dove. Because I used to have one, because I get worried about downloading those, like Vidly or whatever it is. I don't know if it's Vidly, but there's some of those, like you download them, and what it is, it's actually a virus. It'll put a virus on your PC. You have to be really careful about downloading freeware, anything freeware for PC. Mac, not so much, but PC, I had that happen on my Dell. My old Dell workstation, and it ruined it. It locked the hard drive up. Eve with English Bulldog says, with 5 a week, won't you get burnt out? It's a possibility, Eve, but I have to look at this like it's my job. You know what I mean? I have to look, Freedom Dove, no viruses. Okay, I will definitely check Vidly out. Definitely, because if I do the Nomad News again, that's one reason that I really kind of stopped, is because it was if you can't download YouTube videos to be able to cut them out to be able to talk about and show those videos, it makes it hard to do like a news where you're talking about people's stuff if you can't click to it and go to their video, the video you're talking about. So thank you, Freedom Dove. I will definitely check out Vidly. Freedom Dove says, I use WeBrute and it scans a lot. Okay. I have the old one. I can't remember what it's called. It's the old, but it's not very, it's basic, but they give you a basic scan for free. Do a Nomad talk show, Joe P. That's a good idea. Might do that. Definitely might do that. You've been using it for months. The WeBrute is the WeBrute is that that's a virus scan, Freedom Dove. So Vidly. I'm gonna have to check out Vidly. I'm going to let's check that Vidly. Oh, I should go back to A camera. Sorry guys. And A camera's not focused. So I'm gonna look up Vidly. I'm gonna look up Vidly really quick. See what that looks like. Oh, you know what? I actually have downloaded this already. I just didn't open it because I was scared it might have a virus. But anyway, guys, we are 10 minutes after the hour. Oh, yeah, well, I started late today, so we're good. I forgot. I started about 15 minutes late, so we're still good. It says we're an hour in, though. What time is it? Oh, yeah, we are an hour in. It's 8:22. And I haven't gotten anything to eat yet, so I'm going to get off of here and go get me a birthday dinner. I haven't eaten all day. I had some microwave popcorn at about 4 o'clock this morning while I was in the process of moving everything over. I had to start transporting everything over from Podbean to RedCircle. You got 2222 there, a military time random nomad. Thank you, Joel P, for the birthday wishes. I need to go check out. I want to go look at your bus. I haven't been keeping up with the Nomad stuff, Joe P, but I want to go start. The new year, I'm going to kind of get back into the Nomad stuff, I think. My truck is a mess, so I've kind of lost my love for my truck because it got ran into by a drunk driver, and then when the pandemic, the insurance never fixed it. So, it's still supposed to be fixed by insurance, but like the lift gate doesn't work on it anymore. It doesn't have a left back tail light because some drunk ran into it while I was in it at my old work. And the insurance reached out and was supposed to fix it for me. I was supposed to take it into the shop right as the pandemic hit, so everything shut down, and so my truck has never been fixed. So you have that. Then you have the fact that I hooked up the batteries wrong going to RTR last year and shorted a bunch of stuff out. So now there's a bunch of electrical gremlins that I'm trying to figure out and weed out. It's been a bad year for Nomad. Yeah, it has been. It's been a bad year for everybody, Joel P. I think Nomads, for the broken window. It's just been one thing after another. I mean, at this point, I'm actually, just like ready to sell the Snap-on truck and move on, which I think you guys have figured out. Nope, English Bulldog Bertha did not get sold. She's still here in the parking lot. I've got to get a freaking smog. Once I get a smog check on Bertha, I can stick her on eBay. Joel P says, let's meet up and I'll take a look. Okay, Joel P. Where are you at right now? Are you still in Arizona? Are you in Quartzsite? I was actually hoping Badge would actually install my diesel heater this year in my Snap-on truck, but I don't even know these days what I'm going to do. Go back to living in Bertha. Yeah, what I will do is if I can I'll sell both of them. I want to sell both of them, Freedom Dove. I want to sell Bertha and I want to sell the Snap-on truck and combine that money to get a bus or get something else. I think a bus. I really want like a Wonder Lodge. Or land in a tiny home in a pole barn. Yep. So Random Nomad, you pay attention because I'm weighing all of those things out. The thing about is I like being able to go, you know what I mean? And that's the main thing with this office and with having Bertha still, I can't go. I'm tied here. If I hadn't had Bertha, I would have never rented this office. I would have been out on the road somewhere and I would have been working on my Snap-on truck. But because I had Bertha, I can't drive two vehicles down the road. So I've been stuck here. And I thought it would get me motivated to sell Bertha, but it just hasn't. I mean, I tried to sell Bertha, but I got burnt out on dealing with people that said they wanted to buy Bertha. I mean, I don't want to complain about this because it sounds so prima donna-ish to complain about this, but what the deal with Bertha is I had it for sale for quite a while. I probably showed Bertha to 30 people. And when I was working over at SVO, Bertha was here in my friend Noah's driveway, like 5 minutes from here down the street. Okay, that's a 33-mile drive from where my old work was in downtown LA, close to downtown LA. It was 33 miles one way. So literally on like 5, 6, 7 different occasions, I had people reach out to me through Facebook, through YouTube, through everywhere. And people would reach out to me and go, oh my God, I love that rig. That's the exact rig I want. I've been looking for something exactly like that. When can I look? Can I look at it right now? And I would be like, no, dude, I'm at work, but, I can meet you in Fullerton tomorrow so you can take a look at it. And they'd be like, yes, you sure you can't do it today? I would be like, no, I can't do it today because I'm at work, but I can meet you tomorrow. I can meet you there like at 3:30 p.m. tomorrow if that will work for you. Okay, so then I drive all the way from downtown LA here to Fullerton, and I meet the person at 3:30. They look Bertha over. They're in love. They're literally in love. They're like, oh my God, this is exactly what I've been looking for. This is exactly what I want. This is perfect for me. This is exactly what I want to start my nomad life. I can't believe I found this rig. And this is the feedback I'm getting while I'm showing them Bertha, right? So I'm like, oh, dong, Bertha's sold. I'm happy. All good. Yes, this is worth the drive. And then after spending and going through intricacies, showing them things in Bertha that, little, because Bertha's a 40-year-old rig, you know what I mean? So I have to show them, like, there's little things, that don't work like a brand new rig, so I show them everything, how you light the hot water heater, how you light the stove, how you take a shower, how you do everything. I show them everything because I want it, I'm trying to teach them because I know that rig like the back of my hand, right? And then I spend like 3 hours with them. It's like getting dark. I mean, it's 6:30, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't eaten. I'm starving. And then I look at them and I'm like, looking at them like, okay, we need to like wrap this up. So like, you got money? How are you going to like pay? Like, how do you want, how do you see yourself? And then they go, oh, well, hopefully, I have like a check coming in. I don't have the money right now though, but I'm going to get it. And that happened over and over and over. So I really didn't understand because I've actually been trying to buy automobiles in the past, and I would contact somebody about them and they would be so snippy with me, and I'd be like, well, hell, I don't even want to buy your freaking truck, dude, or your car if you're going to act like that. Like, what's your problem? I understand what their problem is now. I didn't get it. And I see these advertisements for vehicles that say no tire kickers. I never really understood that aspect because I've never really been a vehicle seller. And all the time in the past when I've sold a vehicle, it just sells. Like when I decided to sell my Harley Sportster, I sold that Sportster for $8,500. And like the dude was in love with it. He wanted it. He hounded me to buy it and I didn't want to sell it. But I was like, you know what? I have 2 motorcycles. I have 2 Harleys. I need to get rid of one of them because I can't afford the insurance and everything anymore on both of them. So I told him like, hey man, I call him like, I like text him like, hey man, you still want to buy that Harley? Yes. I said, like, when do you want to buy it? He goes, when can you bring it to me? I'm like, I'll bring it to you this evening. And I was heartbroken because I really didn't want to sell it. I still miss that motorcycle. I still wish I had it. It's one of my regrets of something I sold that I really wish I didn't sell, but I sold it. And I sold it for way more than I paid for it, but I did a lot of work to it, but it still sold way, way, way high for a Sportster. But it was because that guy was in love with that bike and he wanted it. And then I sold my 66 Mustang. When I decided to sell my 66 Mustang, I didn't even advertise it anywhere. All I did was kind of put out some feelers like, yeah, I think I'm going to sell my 66. And people got all, oh, you're going to sell the Mustang? Yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of it. I think I want to get a motorhome or something that's more practical for me. I can't, this Mustang just sits all the time. I don't even really drive it anymore. I don't even drive it or enjoy it. Somebody should get to enjoy it. It's a beautiful car, you know what I mean? And I don't really drive it, so it's just sitting all the time. And literally with just saying that to like maybe 5 or 6, 7 different friends. One of my friends told another friend, or somebody was saying he wanted a classic car, and they go, hey man, I got a buddy of mine's got a badass 66 Mustang. So out of the blue, dude from Florida gets a hold of me like, hey, I hear you got a 66 Mustang for sale. Like, how much do you want for it? I'm like, I'd take 10.5. And he's like, okay. He's like, oh, send me some pictures. And I send pictures and I send a video, and he goes, I'll be on a plane to come get it in the morning. And sure enough, I met him the next morning and he flew out here and picked it up and took it back to Florida with him. So that's been my, most of my experience when it comes to selling stuff. It just goes right away. And when I buy, I find what I want, like that Wander Lodge, the one I was showing you guys last episode with the wood stove and everything. And I just go get it. I don't go like I'll look if there's any like red flags. I'll look a vehicle over. I'll crawl up, look into the undercarriage, make sure there's no rust on the frame. I'll check the window, the wheel wells for rust, and I'll look for rust, and then I'll look at the how much grease or oil and stuff is built up on the engine, like engine leaks and that kind of stuff. Look at the tires, what kind of how the tires look, if everything looks aligned, do a short test drive, and then I'll just buy it. I don't finagle with it forever like these people do. Freedom Dove says, pray for the perfect person to come around to the Bertha's new owner. See it in your mind's eye. Yes. And I think a lot of it, Freedom Dove, is even though I say I want to sell Bertha, just I have a sentimental attachment to that rig, so there's no real hurry for me to sell it, which I do need to sell it. It's kind of like the motorcycle, you know what I mean? I know what's going to happen with Berthas. What's going to happen is I'm going to sell Bertha. Somebody's going to put probably like 10 grand in that rig and just make it immaculate. And I'm going to be going, oh man, I kind of wish I had done that and it was still mine. Because that's what happened with the Harley. But it is what it is. Joe P says, I spent an hour under my schoolie. Yeah, you really got to check those schoolies for rust, because I know of a Nomad several years ago, back when the schoolie thing first started getting popular on YouTube. I watched a couple that they bought a school bus, bought it up in the north. Never buy a school bus from a northern freaking school. If you get one from Arizona, California, they're everywhere. Even Texas. Don't get one from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Massachusetts, New York, any of those northern states. Don't even buy a vehicle. When I get ready to buy a vehicle, my 66 Mustang was sold brand new on the showroom floor in Phoenix, Arizona. In 1966, when I went and bought that Mustang, I flew to Phoenix, Arizona, and picked it up. It had been its entire life in Phoenix, Arizona. So there was not hardly an ounce of rust on that car. There was just a little bit of patiki on the car here and there, but there was no major rust on that car anywhere because it's been its entire life in Arizona. And then I sold it and went to Florida. Joe P says, I still found a cracked cross member the other day. Holy moly. Yeah, those buses are heavy. And any rust. But anyway, there was a couple on YouTube that they did that. They bought a bus, didn't know anything about a bus really, got it home and went to start drilling the seats out because they were going to have to remove the seats. And the undercarriage of that bus was so rusted out, they could literally just rock the seats back and forth and pull the seats up out of the floor. And then they ended up crawling under the bus and realized the entire frame of that bus was gone. It was rusted. It wasn't even safe to drive. And then they ended up having that bus and had to go buy another bus. And they spent like $7,000 on this bus because it looked very clean. It looked really nice and new and clean, but it had been driven, on those salty roads wherever they got it, and the whole undercarriage of it was just done. And they ended up buying another bus to do their conversion. Freedom Dove says, I had to drive 1,700 miles away to get my suburban to avoid the rust belt. Yep, that's the way you do it. It's worth it, I'm telling you. When I look for vehicles, I'm not kidding. When I look for vehicles, I really look for vehicles that are in California and that are in Arizona because I know these two climates very well, even Nevada. But for some reason, I really stick to Arizona and California. Like the schoolie that I'm looking at, that Wonder Lodge is a 78. It's a California bird. I mean, it's a California bluebird. It's been in California pretty much its entire life, just traveling out of California. So there's no real rust on it. All right, guys, I'm just rambling now, so we're going to get off of here. We're 1:24, and I said I wasn't going to go past an hour. I need to keep these to an hour with the audio. Random Nomad says, I found my Toyota motorhome here in Minnesota, and it was awesome. Well, if you find one that doesn't have a lot of rust on it, you're doing good. But you're up there, so all of your vehicles, you guys just drive them. I've seen vehicles up there that the whole body of the vehicle is rusted in two, and they're still driving it down the road. So that's something you guys deal with. But if you're in the South, or basically what I'm saying is if you're in the South, don't go to Minnesota to buy a vehicle. Get it in the South. If you're getting an older vehicle, I'll give you I think everybody knows this. I'm just going to say it to reiterate it. But if the least amount of rust that's on a vehicle, the better. Like Bertha sitting out there, she's an 82. I know exactly where the rust is on that vehicle. She has a cancerous rust spot at the bottom of one of the front fenders that needs to be cut out and needs to be a piece of sheet metal welded back in there and then grinded out and painted. And then where the mirror is on the driver's side, where the bolt is, there's a little rust spot right there. And that's all the rust that rig has on it. There's no rust on Bertha other than those two spots. And I always show it to anybody that's looking at it because it's mostly cosmetical. People don't even see it. Yeah, stay away from southern areas prone to flooding. Yeah, that's why like Louisiana, places like that, you got to be careful. Anything because you can get a lot of hurricane vehicles. You see a lot of boats that have been hit by hurricanes. Oh my God, Eve, Brooklyn English Bulldog, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Yeah, we got a notification. The notification worked. Makes me so excited when I see that little stupid notification pop up because I worked so hard to get that stupid thing working. And if you look up at the top of the screen, you see those things and at the top. Those things are supposed to be automated. And like when somebody, like if Eve just did happy birthday, and so it should say her name and stuff up there the next podcast, but I can never get that stuff to work. But I got the alert working. It just said it. Brooklyn English Bulldog super chat at $10. Thank you so much, Eve. I really appreciate that. Made my day. All right, guys. I hope you have a great week. And if everything goes right, we will see you guys back here on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central, and what is that, 10 on the East Coast? Freedom Dove says, always get a pre-purchase inspection. It will save you a lot of money. I never do that, but I should. I've never done that. I mean, I've bought Land Rovers and didn't even get a pre-inspection. I look stuff over myself. I'm pretty mechanically inclined, even though I'm not a mechanic. And I probably just jinxed myself. I'm knocking on wood. Better find wood to knock on because I probably just jinxed myself looking at buying Bluebird buses because they're very expensive to fix. Yes, RN, the coast aren't immune from the salt. No, they're not. They're not immune, but like Arizona, but even a California car, if you get a California car, California is so dry that you shouldn't find one with too much rust on it. You can look at Jay Leno's cars for that because he gets a lot of his cars he gets right here in Southern California. Freedom Dove says I've been burned too many times. Yeah, I totally understand that, Freedom Dove. All right, guys, have a great week, and that is going to do it for this episode of The American Nomad. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and we will see you guys back here on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Thank you for listening to the American Nomad Podcast. Until next time, keep looking up because that's where it all is.